Hey, my name's Carrie, and I am a certified Belief Code, Body Code, and Emotion Code practitioner. And this is a demonstration of a Belief Code session, the way that I do them. And I'm super lucky to have my friend Brooke here with me. Thank you, Brooke.
You're very
And
welcome. Thank you.
we're going to be working with her on a fear of flying. So this is something that we worked on once before. So this is going to be our second session with this, but this will be something where those of you who are interested can like watch the body code in action, the belief code, the body code, and the emotion code in action, because I'm going to be showing the screen so that you can sort of follow along and see what's coming up. And we'll do all of the clearing. So for me as a practitioner, I work a little differently than maybe other practitioners do. I have different tools that I use. I use the Magboy that Dr. Bradley Nelson recommends for clearing energies, but I get additional energy information that comes through when I tap into my clients. So I have a couple of other tools too that we might touch on and talk about, but we'll just see. And I also use a pendulum to be guided and directed by my client's subconscious mind to what is the issue that needs to be addressed and released. So that's just a quick introduction. So Brooke, we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
And I'll just write the topic down. So one of the things that I like to do first is just see, is there anything in the body code before we get to the belief code that we might need to clear up that will help us when we get to the body or the belief code portion. So, and in this case, I get that there's not, so we'll just go right into the belief code. So inside the belief code, there are several different structures, subconscious structures that the team over at Discover Healing has identified. And so for a practitioner, it's good for us to know what we're looking for. And they sort of liken these to a tree. So up at the top is what are called negative programs. And then the trunk of the tree represents our limiting beliefs. The roots of the tree are faulty core beliefs. And then occasionally there will be something known as a faulty core identity, which is like the soil kind of that the tree grows in. So, and there are different structures that represent different types of subconscious structures, basically. This one has two limiting beliefs, and potentially two separate sets of negative programs. There's another one that's called parallel, where they're actually entirely separate trees in the structure, and then tangled and partial, meaning that some parts of the tree or the structure have probably already been released by working with somebody else. So for you, we're going to be looking for a split system, split
Okay.
structure. So we'll have two faulty core beliefs. We'll start though with the limiting belief, or sorry, two limiting beliefs. We'll start with the negative programs. So the first one is in divine insight communication. So this is related to the fear of flying, authority, expression, awareness. Section 2. I'm unable to take care of myself. That's the first negative program. So there's another negative program, divine insight communication, authority, expression. Section 2, I can't speak. So these are all going to be just related to the situation that you're in when you're like having to fly, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
do those,
how
yeah.
did you get to that one?
Basically the pendulum just directed me there, right? So
Okay.
I'm just sort of in my mind, I could verbally say it. Your body is giving me a yes or a no. So I can say there's another negative program. That's a yes, right? So is it in divine insight communication? There I get a yes again. So then I'll click on that one. Authority, no. Expression, yes.
Is it the same three each, same one each time, right?
These are
For
all
me?
coming up in, they're all coming up in communication. I
Mm-hmm.
think the last one, it was expression. Oh, wait, are these all? Yeah, these are all coming up in the
Mm-hmm.
same category. Yeah. So
Interesting.
this one's coming up again in the same category. Yep. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. 2. I need to apologize for my opinion. So this might not be about an opinion. So what I know from working with other clients is that what the subconscious will do, obviously we have a limited amount of statements here and beliefs and programs. So the subconscious will get us in the vibrational ballpark of what the issue is. And then because as a practitioner, I am a bit of an empath, or some people might say slightly psychic, where I'm getting information. When I actually tune into this, when we come to clear it, I'll probably get more information about that. So I will maybe hear a certain dialogue about this, or I'll know, is this something that is it external? Is it internal? Is this coming at the outside directed at me? Is it a truth I feel like about myself or somebody else? So I'll talk through all of that when it comes up. But
Okay.
what I know from this one is that often the word opinion doesn't necessarily, like, it might not be about an opinion. Like this might be, I need to apologize for sort of like, I feel like I should apologize for my anxiousness, or how
Mm,
this causes a disruption for my family when we travel, or something like that. It's probably opinion isn't the key word here. It might
mm-hmm.
be, but my guess is that this is more about the feeling bad, or feeling like you should apologize for
Mm-hmm.
this being challenging for you, right?
Right. And one might
Um,
say to me, well, your fear of flying is just your opinion on flying.
yeah,
So
exactly. Like,
it could work in
mhm,
that way as well. But I see, yeah, the word is different.
that you're in some kind of danger when,
Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
millions of people fly every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's rarely, yes, of course, there are accidents, but there's rarely
Rarely.
accidents and injury, from that kind of situation. But your subconscious has the opinion, danger, danger, warning,
Yeah.
warning. So I could see that too. That's a really good point. So we'll look for the limiting belief, which we're going to probably find two here because this is a split structure. So divine insight communication. Yeah, a lot of these are in communication. So just something for you to note: authority, expression, awareness. Section 1, Section 2. I'm too quiet. And again, often this one won't be about being quiet. Sometimes maybe this is because I kind of know your situation is, oh, I have to keep it quiet. Like I don't
Yeah.
want anybody to know what's going on. For other clients, this will be, it doesn't matter if I say anything anyway, it's not going to be received, right? I'm not
Mm-mm.
supported with what I'm saying, or so it shows up in different ways. So for me, what I've learned from working with lots of people now in this is that I'm too quiet does not mean the same thing for every single person. It
Mm-hmm.
can be manifest differently. So there's another limiting belief: divine insight communication. This is another limiting belief. So again, it's here. Expression. Section 2. I can't speak.
Huh. I am too
I'm
quiet and I can't
too
speak. It's like,
quiet and I can't speak. Right. So something going on about not wanting to express much, I would say, about
mhm.
this. So there's a faulty core belief as well. This is in the divine category. So this is the first one through. And as we go down, we sort of get deeper, I would say, into earlier life programming.
Okay.
Faith, God, purpose. Section 1, Section 2. I'm unable to find a path to fulfill my purpose. Which probably seems like, what does that have to do with the fear of flying? For sure. But we'll hopefully get more information when we clear it. I might be able to like make that make sense, because often the
Right.
subconscious doesn't make a lot of sense to us
Right.
in our rational mind, you know? So there is not a faulty core identity with this structure, which that's not a for sure always. I mean, none of these are, because you can have a partial, but that one only shows up sometimes. So there's also this, and this is something that I sort of, another practitioner taught me, was to, and this is rung true for me in many of my sessions, is that there, just like there can be body code and emotion code associations related to this, so energies that are related to this structure that we need to release in order to release this, there can also be belief code associations. So this is not part of the structure, but these are beliefs that are sort of associated with the structure. And there's something here. So let's find that. Divine insight communication, authority expression. And for the first time now, I'm starting to feel something like there's a charge on this one. Section 1, Section 2, Section 3. Okay, this one says, I talk in circles. And because this is an association, we can actually find out which one of these statements it's associated with. So we have, I'm unable to take care of myself. I can't speak. I need to apologize for I'm too quiet. So ironically, there's some kind of association between I'm too quiet and I talk in circles. Maybe this sometimes isn't about talking, it's about the mind spinning. I've
Mm-hmm.
found that in other clients. It's like they're not verbalizing it, but it's like in my head, I just keep cycling around and around and around.
I could totally, that makes total sense.
Okay.
That's
So
exactly what
it's
happens in my head. And I
going on
try
in
my
here.
hardest not to say it out loud,
Yeah.
but it's going like
Yeah,
crazy. Sometimes I
exactly.
think I'm going crazy.
Yeah. So it'll be good to release some of these beliefs that make that true and hold that in truth in your life, which manifests it in your reality. By clearing these, hopefully the energy is going to dissipate on that and you're open to new possibilities and new ways of being around this issue. So, are there other belief code associations? No. I kind of like to attach these to where they are in the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So there are also body code and emotion code associations. So we need to clear those first. Once we clear those, we can come back and we'll start taking out each one of these components of the structure.
Okay.
So we're going to start in the body code. That's what your body says. Pathogen, misalignment, nutrition, lifestyle, energy, allergy, intolerance, emotional, compound, trapped, heart wall, emotion. Okay, common, shared, absorbed, prenatal. So this is an inherited heart wall emotion, meaning that you did not choose this. This does not come from your life experience. This came from your father's side, actually. And it goes back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations.
Wow.
So it goes back quite a long ways. This is actually anger.
Huh.
Yeah. So you don't have an experience that you can associate this with in your life, but there must be some component. Maybe you're just frustrated and angry with yourself around
Mm-hmm.
this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's being triggered here. So is there any other associations? Yes. So there's something else that we need to clear before we can clear this. It's in the emotion code. So since we're here, I'm just going to stay 203 column A, crying. So associated with this, there's a crying energy. Is there anything associated with the crying, inherited, hidden, or otherwise? No. Okay, so we can clear the crying energy. So this is the first time we're going to clear something. Ooh, yeah. I do feel this actually. I feel it really high in my chest, like almost like creeping up into my voice box, sort of. Um, yeah, this does feel like maybe this, maybe this is you trying to control that anxiety. I feel anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it feels like you're trying to keep it down a little bit. Like I can feel the need to control.
Mm-hmm.
Um, It feels more like anxiety than crying. I don't get like a lot of energy around crying, which I can usually identify sometimes, or sometimes it'll be associated with sadness or whatever. This is probably predominantly anxiety energy. And we cleared that. So then I go back to the inherited heart wall of anger and say, is there anything there that needs to be cleared, hidden, inherited, or otherwise? No. Okay, so now we can clear this inherited heart wall of anger. And we're not going to just clear it from you. We'll clear it from you, your father, and everybody up the line, whether they are still in physical form or not. Okay.
Okay. Enjoy this, Dad.
Yeah, right. That's kind of
Yeah.
a gift that you get to
Yeah.
give your
Yeah.
fathers to release some of this anger that also he didn't choose. Like
Mm-hmm.
he came into the world ringing, vibrating with anger in him already from all of these generations of them holding on to this energy. Um, hmm. and I feel it for sure. I feel it. I'm actually going to use a couple of these other tools because it's quite intense. But you can imagine after so many generations, the volume gets turned up, the dial gets turned up on this. I feel my abdomen tightens up. Sorry, I yawn sometimes when I release. Um, my abdomen is very, very tight right now, which for me is always an indication of self-protection. Like that's something that's a physical response that I get when I can sense that somebody is in high protective mode around an energy that we're clearing. Um, so I definitely get that here, but this, probably applies to the origin of this 6 generations back rather than you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element of anxiety to this anger energy as well. So it is anger, but there's anxiety kind of baked into it,
Mm-hmm.
which is maybe probably why it's being triggered because both of these for you have a like they resonate with anxiety too.
Right.
Um, okay, so there's something else here. It's actually over in the emotion code, so we'll see. Row 1, row 2, row 3, column A. So this is crying energy again, but it's separate. So the other one was associated, it was like tacked on to the anger. This
Okay.
is standalone. So
Okay.
um yeah. There's a lot of like I I can kind of feel how and I don't want it, I don't like it, or I don't want people to know. There's something here that's kind of like, deflecting, like trying
Yeah.
to cover it up or something right away. That's how the body sort of responds. Um, yeah, this is this is like not wanting to give in to this, fighting very hard, not wanting to give in to this energy. I would say with the anxiety is how I would
Yeah.
interpret that, right? Working very hard, the body, I would say, emotionally, like not to give into it.
I wish I could help.
It's okay.
Release, Brooke.
Well, it's been around a while. I mean, I know you haven't had this your whole life, but
Hmm.
it's been around for a while and you
Hmm.
do
Yeah.
travel a lot, right? So you're
Yeah.
just have built up quite a big charge around this. I'm going to use this other tool here to release some more energy. It's feeling better. But yeah, I would say that is mostly, and again, I don't necessarily get the crying energy that I might expect to feel here, but
Hmm.
more this like really, really trying not to let that take control, you know? I would say if there is crying energy here, it has its foundation in frustration.
Ah,
So,
okay.
like, we, I don't know about you, but I know I've had experiences in my life where I am so frustrated, I start to cry. I'm
Yeah.
not sad. I'm
Hmm.
just so frustrated that it's like, I kind
Yeah,
of lose it, you know?
for sure.
So I would say if the crying is showing up, it's about that type of, that's where it's sort of has its roots. There's something here that also says be patient with me. So maybe like that's your body asking for that, or maybe that's a message you're trying to put out to others when you're in this situation, right? So there's sort of an asking for patience from, I get more probably people outside of you than yourself
Okay.
um, in this situation. So it's just like, look, I'm in it over here, like I'm in it, and I just need you to be patient with me.
Hmm.
Mm, I'm gonna get through this, but I really can't, like, I just really need you to just, you know,
Let me
let
get through
me.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, okay, so we cleared that one. So is there anything else? So here's how and I don't know how other practitioners are really like doing this, but I believe that the conscious mind needs to know a certain amount of things in order to release these structures. But I also know by doing this for so many years that there's more going on in the subconscious than's coming up consciously. So I will take this other tool that I have from another sort of energy modality, and I just hold in my mind that I want to release any associated energies, whether they revealed themselves or not, that might be associated with this structure. And there's for sure energy there. Um, yeah, maybe even a tiny bit of embarrassment. Like my body kind of wants to go like I want to hide a little bit. There's
Hmm.
something about like hiding. I would probably call that embarrassment, or shame. I mean, it might tip the scales
Yeah.
into shame. There's real dis-ease here, like uneasiness, not disease, but like
Yeah.
there's real uneasiness in this, like in the pit of my stomach uneasiness, I would say. Um, it gets very tight in my abdomen again, and I
That's how
feel
I feel when I'm flying.
incredibly uncomfortable. Yeah, yeah. It's it's hard to let anything else in, I would say. Like if I were you and I was experiencing this on a plane, I would say it would be very hard for me to override this sensation, this feeling that is like overwhelming my body, to
Hmm.
even let anything to be like, they're doing the safety announcement or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It really doesn't feel like much can pierce this bubble because everything has to go into
Hmm.
this is all consuming, I guess. That's the best way for me to say it as I experience it. And I'm only getting a fraction of what's really going on in you because I'm just picking up the carrier wave of what's being released off of you, right? Okay, so that was just a few things that for whatever reason the conscious mind didn't need to know. They didn't come up, but I know they're in there, so I always try and
Right.
release them because I just want to get as much energy out related to these subjects as we can. So now we can go back up into the structure itself and start to take this out. So I'm unable to take care of myself. This does not work for you. You do not like this. This is not a comfortable place for you to be.
No.
And now that I just felt all that overwhelm and like how all consuming this is, and I know you have a husband and you have two sons, and you always, as a mother, want to be able to like attend to whatever needs they might have. And I can tell that's probably not easy for you, if possible at all, when
Mhm.
this, anxiety, this overwhelming sort of energy comes upon you. And you actually also immediately do not like this. I'm unable to take care of myself. This does not work for you. Mm, not at all.
No.
Nope.
Doesn't sound like something that I would like.
No. And there are people where that's perfectly fine. Like you would think, oh, well, everybody could say that. Not really. Some of us like to be
No.
taken care of. We are fine to let other people have the reins. We're not concerned about that. But for you, I can tell it just does. That adds more discomfort. That adds
Hmm.
more unease to what's already going on because you don't have the capacity, or I am making suppositions here, but based on the energy that I'm feeling, this is in question,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean this whole thing is about being afraid that the airplane might have some kind of emergency where you would have to get yourself out of the plane or help,
Yeah.
like, and so this is compounding
Yeah.
the anxiety that's just like
Right.
building up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we cleared that one. So now I can't speak. We're going to do that one, which yes, did come up twice here,
Right.
once as a negative program and once as a limiting belief. I think what this actually says is you don't want me to tell you what's going on. like, like, you don't want to know. Yeah, I'm going to protect you from what's going on in here. Like, and not in a bad way, but like,
No.
you actually don't want to know how much I'm kind of dealing with right now, right?
Well, that's for sure with the kids.
Yeah,
Like it's a fear of mine on top of this fear that I'm going to create fear in them,
yeah.
which I don't want to do. Like it's the last thing I want to pass on to them. So I try so hard to keep it so quiet into myself, and yeah, so I just hold it in, hold it in, hold it in.
Yeah.
But inside I'm dying.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy that is coming up, and a lot of uncertainty energy, I would say. Uh, I mean, that's what causes the anxiety, right? Is
Hmm.
that it's an unpredictable situation,
Hmm.
and I'm unable to care for myself. That's hooks right in with that.
Hmm.
So I'm just waiting for this other tool to like finish balancing the energy. All right. So we cleared that one. I need to apologize for my opinion. You know what? This actually is somewhat about your opinion. This says you don't have to believe me, but this is actually real for me. So I think you were
uh,
right when you were like, well, it's my opinion that I'm unsafe. It's so
yeah.
maybe there, as you say, people will be like, just get over it. Like it's all in your
Hmm.
head. Don't worry about it. And that's kind of what this is like, you don't have to believe me, but like this is my real experience. So I don't know. I think I was wrong that it's not about apologizing, because I don't get you being like, oh, I'm so sorry that this is happening to me.
Hmm.
It's not really that at all. It's like, I don't, you know, I get that you think that this is like some insignificant, like little glitch in my head. Not at
Hmm.
all. So, which I can fully confirm
Yeah.
based on your energy that's coming up
Yeah.
right now. Like, yeah, this is real for you, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so now I get quite a lot of nervousness energy in this one. So, whereas before it's been a lot more of anxiety, like really kind of overwhelming anxiety, this has, which is maybe it's hard to know, but I can feel the difference between
Okay.
nervousness and anxiety. This feels a little bit less. It feels almost like, when we get nervous and we start tapping something, like we have these
Yeah.
little nervous, that like that's kind of how nervousness feels. It's like
Yeah.
kind of always in the background, So I don't know if that's related to the flying or related to people that don't believe me.
Okay.
Could be either one. I
Yeah.
can't really like place that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so we cleared that one. I am too quiet. Okay. Quite honestly, quite honestly, there's something in this one that says, screw you, I'm going through something over here.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this one says, to be honest. It's just kind of like, back the F off, because I can't take, and nothing else can get through right now. To, you know so I don't know if there's somebody who maybe questions this or doubts this or makes light of it, or is it's like, don't, something like, you shouldn't be having this, whatever. There's a little bit of like, you know what?
This is real.
Yeah, exactly.
At
Yeah.
least in my body it is.
Yeah. So, and probably because I know you,
Hmm.
your body is saying that, like, screw you, back off. Like you're having this, I don't know if it's anger, but frustration reaction, but you're
Hmm.
not expressing it, is my,
No.
because you're so nice that I can't
Yeah.
imagine you doing that.
No. No. If anything, I won't say anything.
Right.
That's my go-to. I'll just keep it quiet. I'll just keep it to myself.
Well, and then the association is I talk in circles. So that's kind of what is going on here, is like, you're not expressing this, and it's
Hmm.
fine. Sometimes we shouldn't express everything.
No.
We, we there is a reason to protect others from what's going on in us sometimes. I think we should always honor what's going on in us. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm.
But so these two are kind of compounding. This is not, this has no escape hatch. Let's
Oh.
just say that, right? So it's like, it's spinning around in there. Okay, so we're gonna wait and do I talk in circles at the end, but
Okay.
we'll come back to that. So I can't speak. Um, did we just do that one? No,
No, as I'm too quiet.
I'm too quiet. Okay, right. So now we're gonna do I can't speak again. Only this time it's a limiting belief. This is probably more, yeah, this is like, there really isn't any thinking here at all. Actually, this is what you were talking about, I think, with your sons, is that it's like, this is completely shutting down. So this is you holding all that in.
I barely talk on a plane. So it's literally like my kids can be right beside me and I'm just staring at the window the whole time, like, don't talk to me. Let me
Yeah.
stare.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's what it feels like, is that everything kind of shuts down.
Hmm.
Okay, so we cleared that one. I'm unable to find a path to fulfill my purpose. So interesting that this is the faulty core belief. I think this is just more about limitation, how this limits you, probably.
Hmm.
Um, it does limit the amount of freedom that you Well, it doesn't really limit you. Don't let this limit you, is what I
No,
should say.
but you know what? It does limit my joy and enjoyment around planning a trip, or, like once I get to where I'm going, I don't think about it. I don't let it ruin like my trip by any means or anything like that. But like I should be more excited to plan the trip and look into things and do all these things, but I don't, because in my head I'm like, oh, I gotta get there by plane.
Right.
So I do limit parts of the, I guess, the planning process, and even on the plane. Like maybe if I sat there and played a game, brought cards and played a game with one of the boys the whole time, maybe that would help me to take my mind off things. But I'm so like, I gotta keep it this way. So
Yeah.
I am limiting things. Whether it's my purpose or not, I don't know, but I can totally see that.
Well, I mean, our purpose is freedom and joy, right? And
Right.
so we think of purpose as, oh, this is my mission in life, or this is
Right.
my, but as beings, sort of our purpose is freedom, joy,
Hmm.
exploration, expansion, and a lot of these things are inhibited by this fear, which keeps you unable to go down that path, as you're saying. So
Hmm.
maybe this is more nuanced here, like it's not such a direct correlation. It might just be more, no, we're extrapolating a little bit. I get that. Like we're trying to figure out where this fits. And at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily matter where it fits as long as
No.
it's not there anymore. That's really the
Right.
goal, right? So,
Hmm.
um, okay, so that one didn't clear. So this was the first time I'm going to use this tool too. Um, there's self-doubt. So this is the first time that I've gotten this. There's definitely self-doubt in here. And I would say now I am feeling this is the turning inward. So whereas before it's been like, hey man, like back off. Outward, I don't want to express, I don't want you to know. It's all but this one is actually now I feel the self-judgment, the
Hmm.
criticism, the doubting, the like all of that. Like now I can feel that turn inward where all of that's showing up here. Yeah. And there is a real, like, there's a part of you that's like, just get over it. Come on, Brooke, just get over it. Like there's probably a voice in your head that says that. That's not the answer. Just get over it is could
Right.
not possibly be the answer with all of this energy that you've been holding on to. You don't just get over that,
No.
right? Well, luckily we can release it,
Hmm.
but to just like pretend it's not there,
Right.
it's impossible.
It is
We're
impossible.
vibrational beings, we're energetic beings. It's impossible to just be like,
Hmm.
oh, that energy doesn't exist, or that thought isn't true anymore.
Right.
It's there, of course it still is. It's still in
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we cleared all of that. So now we've cleared the entire structure. We've cleared the association. I'm going to go back. I talk in circles. This is our one sort of belief code association. I'm going to clear that one. Okay. All right. I'll be honest with you on this one. This one actually says, you're not there for me. So I have to be in my head about this. So it feels like somebody maybe isn't as supportive as you might like them to be on the outside externally.
Hmm.
So you're doing that work inside, right? Like you're trying to pep talk yourself or like psych yourself. Like there's a real, so I think that's maybe what this is about a little bit.
So okay, makes sense.
I don't know if that's true for you, but
Uh-huh.
that's sort of what I feel,
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I do feel the anxiety. Again, just like the general anxiety that I felt before. I don't know if it's specific to like this particular saying or if it's just this is the overriding anxiety that is associated with this whole program, right?
Hmm.
So it's kind of a component of each one of these. Okay, so we cleared that one too. So now we've cleared everything and all the associations. So once again, I just go in and clear any residual energy that might be there. And I just let the subconscious like take the reins on that one.
Okay.
And, I trust that whatever there is that might be remaining gets taken care of. And again, I'm using this other tool. It comes out of biogeometry for those who might be interested, and just waiting for it to balance and center the energy around that. And there, that's done. So now we get to look at positive beliefs. Are there
Yay.
positive, I know, right? Are there positive beliefs that we can install in place of some of these others? And there are. Great. So now this is again, the body's choosing these, like just like the body identified those other ones, it's directing what it wants to be the new operating system, the new programs and beliefs around this. So divine insight, communication, love, which is a category we weren't in at all
Right.
before. Divine insight, communicate. Oh, sorry. Feelings, family, parents, self, children, others, partner, responsibility. Section 1, Section 2. My integrity guides my actions. That's kind of interesting here. I actually am not exactly sure how that fits. Does that resonate with you? Like,
I I guess in a way, if my actions are to like be quiet and hold it in and all that, maybe because it's my integrity that I don't pass it on, that I'm so although my actions aren't doing me a favor, so to speak, I'm doing them because or it's happening to me because I'm trying to keep it away from them.
mhm.
So maybe that's my integrity.
Maybe. I mean, especially since one of the last things that came up was the inner critic, like the inner
Hmm.
judgment, and like you kind of being down on yourself around this. It
Right.
could be that this is the higher self's way of saying you're in your integrity. Like
Hmm.
you're acting out of integrity as a mom, and not wanting to do so. Don't beat yourself up about that. Like just
Yeah.
because you're not playing cards with your son on an airplane, you don't have to feel bad, mom.
Right.
You're
Right.
actually serving a higher power here, or
Right.
something bigger, and
Yeah.
that's totally within your integrity, right? So
Hmm.
yeah. And that is the only one that your body says. So it must be important, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we're unpacking it right or not, but clearly it's something that is going to support you
Well,
in this.
I think that one too goes well with the other things you were getting from me too, that outside sources too, that if it's the
Mhm.
outside sources that I don't feel like are supporting me, I'm reminding myself like, oh no, Brooke, it's okay. What you're doing is fine. Who cares what
Yeah.
everyone else thinks?
Yeah. Yeah. And I picked that up a couple times, like, hey, back off. Like, I'm dealing with this in the best way that I can. I'm
Hmm.
staying in my integrity with me and what I know to be true,
Hmm.
right? So, makes sense. Okay, so we cleared all the residual already. So we are just gonna, and I just do these notes for my clients. And now there's a resetting and realigning process that Dr. Bradley and the team at Discover Healing came up with. And I like to do that. And they encourage doing that at the end of every session to sort of set you up for recalibrating and integrating the work that we did. So this is something that I also use this other tool for. And I'm just going to say this out loud as I do this. So we're going to reset the connection between the spirit and the body. We're going to reset the communication between the spirit and the body. That one might have been a little bit off because I feel a little charge on that. We're going to reset the magnetic field of the heart, reset the connection between the spirit and the physical heart, reset the connection between the heart and the brain, reset the right side of the brain, the left side of the brain, reset the corpus callosum. Also, slight on that one. Reset the root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, heart chakra. Again, your heart chakra is a little off, or was. Throat chakra, third eye, crown. Align all the chakras vertically. Also, a couple of those may have been out of balance. Reset the governing meridian, reset the conception meridian, reset the magnetic field, and reset the aura. So I'm just going to wait until all that balances and centers itself, which is helpful for you integrating the work.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I'm going to note down that we did that. And then I like, when it was just the body code and the emotion code, it was pretty much a standard 48 hours to sort of integrate what was going on. But this is deeper. We're going much deeper into the subconscious. We're taking out entire structures so that it can take more time. So I like to let people know how many days to recalibrate and integrate. So for you, it's going to be 9 days. So 9 days before this is sort of like fully set in the system, right?
Okay.
And that's just for you to understand
Before the next time I have to
body
fly.
is shifting. Oh, well,
Ooh,
there you go.
yeah.
Perfectly aligned with now you can see, did the work that we do shift anything for me? Am I feeling
Right.
different? And I think sometimes just that is where the challenge comes in for clients sometimes is that they think, okay, well, the structure's gone, the energy is gone. It's all going to be different. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that it's important to remember that you might have decades of habits
Yeah.
and certain things that you've done that were related to this or supporting this or whatever. And just because you've taken out these beliefs and the body is recalibrated and integrated the work, it still becomes our job to step into this space of now the energy is different. I get to operate differently. I get to not fall back into those same old habits or thought patterns or whatever those old traps are that
Mm-hmm.
were related to the structure. Yeah, the structure's gone, but it takes us also having awareness and making different choices with the new energy that we have that is really part of the process. I think a part of the success of this is like, yeah, the practitioner can help you. We can take out the energy, we can put in new energy, but there's a certain amount of you're making new choices with the
Mm-hmm.
new energy that is really going to see things change and evolve for you.
Right.
Yeah. So any questions, comments?
I don't think so. No, I'm just I'm excited to use this to start new habits and like you said, like make this new belief of my integrity guides my actions in a more maybe productive way.
Yeah.
Like I get through it, but maybe I can do it in a way that isn't so, shut down or isn't so uh nervous, anxious. Like again, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go away right away, but I feel like I can go into it a little bit differently and
Yeah.
use that. I like that my integrity guides my actions. So even if I am feeling it, I'm not going to feel bad about it, reminding
Right.
myself that too, because that just compounds things and makes it way worse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's bad enough to deal with the anxiety of that and then put on the shame and the guilt and everything else.
Yeah.
So,
So 9 days, you do want to
okay.
drink more water, at least over the next couple of days. That always helps when you do any kind of energy work to help the system
Okay.
integrate and recalibrate itself. And I like to tell my clients if they want to support their body during this process, if they could get an extra hour of sleep. And in your case, 9 days is actually a little bit longer than most. An
Mm-hmm.
hour or two in the next week or so of sleep would be great, because that means our conscious mind is offline and it allows the subconscious to process more.
Okay.
So if you don't get to do either one of those things, it's totally fine. It's still all going to happen. But if you wanted to support the process, those are a couple of actions that you could take.
I think extra sleep is the best prescription you could ever give me. So I
Great.
will do that. I will do that.
Now you have a reason, right?
Yeah,
It's, yeah,
exactly. I need to
your
do this.
homework.
I was told. My body
Yeah,
told me so.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, and if anything comes up in the next 9 days that you feel is related to what we worked on, that you just kind of get stuck on, or you just like you can't move off of it, maybe it's an emotion or a memory or just something that you're like, I'm pretty sure this has to do with what we did, then I want to me and just let me know. It's like, hey, Carrie, this is going on. I think it's related to what we did. Like, could you check? So
Hmm.
I will just go in and, with your permission, obviously, go in and check. And if there's something there that needs to be released, because as we recalibrate, this doesn't happen very often, but maybe 10% of the time, my clients will not feel great, and it's like, oh, so as they recalibrated, like something else came to the
Mm.
surface. It sort of
Yeah.
needed to be released so that they could complete their cycle of
Hmm.
recalibration. So I'm always here during that time for people, and want to know if there's anything that feels like off or stuck or whatever, so that we
Hmm.
can and like get you through this period.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
And
you.
if I needed to do that, I can just contact you by email or whatever,
Well,
and
yeah,
we don't
I'll
need to do
send.
this again, even, do we?
No, no, not at all. That's a great question. Yeah, so I will send these notes. I always send the feedback along with information on how to contact me, and then that means that you have my email address right there. So I usually just reply to my email.
Okay.
Put in my name, just reply to this email and tell me what's going on. I'll likely remember what we worked on anyway, but that also helps me know, like, oh, this was the topic, and so,
Mm.
it just reply to that same email.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that a
Well,
lot.
thank you.